Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or good day wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the next episode of No Dice, No Glory. Sponsored by our jobs that actually pay us money, we're coming to you not at all live from an abandoned arms factory deep under a mountain in West Virginia. We are proud to proffer to you the finest in wargaming coverage. Without any further ado, let's get this show on the road.
Well, welcome to another episode of No Dice, No Glories on the Road. And we are here at the Games Tavern in Chantilly, Virginia for, what's the name of this tournament? Well, let me introduce who I'm here with. I'm here with No Dice, No Glory, Glory's own Ed Sales.
Hello.
Yeah, Ed, we're going to have to move Ed a little bit in. Say hello again.
Hello.
There he is. And then Battlefront's Brian Sullivan, who's been on the show many times.
Once or twice.
Yeah, once or twice. What was the name of this tournament? Didn't we have a pithy name for it?
Trial by fire.
Why Trial by Fire? Why not?
Well, because this is going to be this is the first tournament for Flames of War that we've had here. It's a brand new store.
It's a brand new store, and if you guys remember from just like 3 episodes ago, we were here, we interviewed the proprietor, and we spoke to some of the people that were here for the grand opening. So we're here today for Late War, 1775. I thought it was 1745. My bad, doesn't make a difference because, I lost my 2 matches. But we got, 26 players?
26 players, yep. We had 29 sign up, 26 show.
So compare that to other tournaments that you've been seeing. This is a pretty good turnout.
Oh, definitely. Like the 2 others that rival this would be Adepticon.
Right.
And then Historicon. It's been a while since we've had a tournament this big in Virginia.
Last Historicon wasn't that big, though, was it?
No, it was 28 players, I think.
For Mid-War Nationals.
Yes.
We actually looked it up when our round ended. This is the second largest tournament of the tournament scene thus far in the country.
Really?
Yes.
We should maybe say that now when we hand out the prizes. How many people were at Adepticon? You're talking about the one that just happened.
Yes, I believe it was 24. I don't remember exactly how many people there were. I know they maxed out on tables.
It was, I think it was 36. I think they only had room for 36, and that is currently the largest tournament this tournament's in.
And Adepticon, that's a big pull. A lot of guys are coming in for Adepticon.
Well, yeah, you get all the Indianapolis guys, you get the
Able Company.
Pittsburg guys.
We're friends with Able Company.
You get a lot of Canadians come down for it.
Yeah, it was 36.
Well, yeah, Canadians. I mean,
They're pushovers.
pretty well, yeah. And it was interesting because John, one of the guys that runs this place, was like, "Who's Matt Varnish?" And I'm like, "He's one of our guys. He's hilarious." I go, he is. And I had a great time with him at Cold Wars. So, let's look around here. We got guys from Pittsburgh. We got guys from the store in Norfolk, Virginia, which I can never say right. We have Philadelphia represented. Where's Rich and Howard from?
They're from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's right. So we have big Pittsburgh crew here. And then a lot of locals, the Bessie here, of course. This is also the return tournament of the Gobels.
They've been on hiatus for a while.
They've been on hiatus. And, they just haven't been playing. There's Scott McLemore, and I just felt great when Ben lost that first match. Ben is when we used to do On the Road at WWPD, Ben was the show mascot. We would make fun of him. So good turnout. Are you surprised, or do you figure we would get more people for this?
This is about what I was expecting. I was hoping to get a little more. I was shooting for 36 because I really wanted to fill this place up, but it's already kind of everyone's a little familiar with each other in here because
it is
a lot of people in a small space.
Yeah, and looking around, it's like a mixture of some new players I've never seen before. Like I think the guy I played in the first round was from the Games and Stuff or such, whatever the hell they call it, in Maryland. First time at a tournament. And I know for a lot of people out there, tournaments, they can be a little off-putting because of the folks, but, this is a good crowd.
We actually have a couple of people this is the first tournament for because Andrew's playing Japanese, unfortunately.
Yes.
This is his first tournament. He's having a blast with it.
So when he sent me his list, I looked at it, and I played Japanese early war, and I'm like, it's a late war tournament. And he's like, yeah, okay. And it's other than his AT guns, it's you can use the same list for early war.
He didn't even bring Nikihaku teams.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
I explained that to him, and he learned.
Hey, he just had an assault recently. He assaulted 4 Panzer IVs and knocked out 3 of them, or bailed 3 of them out with his AT-2 infantry without the Nikihara team. So, I mean,
that should not be allowed.
He's having fun. Again, first time playing at a tournament with a list he's at a disadvantage at, and he's having a great time here.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging.
There are 6 guys here, and 5 guys and 1 girl that I do not recognize. So,
which is kind of good, because if you recognize them, you would have to wonder how, because you do surf the web a lot.
Yeah, I've been to some unsavory places.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, man. We still love and appreciate you. So besides this, what else has been going on? Like, Brian, we know that you can't play any other games other than Battlefront products. Ed, you don't play anything else, do you?
I've got Star Wars Armada, Art de la Guerre.
Yeah? What do you think? Are you a big Armada player?
Let's put it this way. I own every model, and I don't play much,
I own every model up to Wave 5.
Okay.
But did you see that article a few weeks ago in NDNG, the Armada guy?
No, I didn't see it.
It was a really good article. And he really explained, like, Armada is a war gamer, and we're going to have him write more. But I met him here for the grand opening, and we just started talking, saying, I got a lot of Armada. So if anybody wants to buy a full-up Armada to Wave 5, and just give me you guys know how to find me. So, and what Art de la Guerre, that is, like, getting real popular.
It is. It's essentially replacing DBM, DBA. It seems to be the ancient game of choice for a lot of people right now. So it's a good system. I just like the lack of dice you roll for it.
Yeah. And then, Brian, what else are you playing? Do you play something else?
I do. I play BattleTech, and I also just started getting into By Fire and Sword.
You need to meet my friend that helped write the last BattleTech book. He lives around here.
Oh, okay.
I was going to try to get him to come, but he had to travel. But yeah, I want to get into BattleTech. BattleTech's fun. I entered a bolt action tournament coming up in a couple of months. I really want to try that game.
Yeah.
Sean and Sarah actually came, and we were trying Blood Red Skies, and that's a fun game. We're also waiting to get out the Napoleon at War version 2 is coming out.
That's something I'd be interested in.
I'll tell you, there's a beauty about a Napoleonic army on a table. And I have Brits with their beautiful red coats and then the green riflemen. We're like to hold it here to get everybody into it, because we do have a very big crowd, but it's a resource crowd from Flames of War. It's the guys that you probably don't see at tournaments, Ken Jacobson, Chris Comer. It's those guys, and I think you would like it. It's different. It's a fun game. It's a lot like Flames because it's point-based, based on for tournament play, and it really gets the Napoleonic flavor.
I noticed a lot of people play Napoleonics. The issue is everybody plays a different Napoleonic rule set.
Yeah, well, okay. So, welcome to Wargaming. Napoleonics and Civil War have been around for so long, and everybody has their favorite rule set, and they're all great. But it's really trying to find a bunch of guys that play it. Now, do you ever see tournaments for that, though? For Napoleonics?
There was one.
Historicon.
Yeah, we held that a few years ago at Historicon using Napoleon at War. Was there one last year?
No.
I thought there was one at Cold War, too, that we just had.
I mean, not that I'm aware of. Maybe
that was Eric Lauderbach's.
Yeah.
Right. With his rule set, much like our Napoleon at War tournament, it's with hey, instead of playing at the game store, why don't we just go to Historicon and play? And he get a few others. And that's the problem. It's fragmented. And looping back to why Flames of War was so popular for so long is because it was the standard World War II game for at least a good 10, 12 years. And it's still the number one 15-millimeter World War II game. There's other games out there. Like
right.
you get Battle Group. And but the Kurt Reese is calling. I think he needs you, Brian.
Oh.
So Brian will be back. Ed and I will keep talking.
I'm very sorry.
No, he's not. He just wants to get his voice on this. But I mean, Art de la Guerre is ancient. If I have time one day, I really like to play that.
I got a full army for it, and I just.
Who's your army?
Scots, and they transfer to pre-feudal, feudal, medieval. There's a bunch of spearmen and pikemen, but I just can't get to painting that many infantry because, they're not all usually one set uniform,
And also, isn't it a low model count for ADG?
For the Scots, I'm looking at over 200 figures to paint.
Yeah. What I would say is that is pass. Like, so when I just painted my bolt action guys,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And you know what's weird, and maybe this is sharing too much, when I got finished painting, and I was, depressed. Like, I had nothing left to paint. It was depressing. Yeah, and I have a ton of stuff that I can paint, but it's like, you paint, and then I'm not going to play now till September. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was something else that caused my dysthymia. I don't know, but I'm like, if you have no more lead to paint, it's time to die. I just didn't look to, and a lot of it is by when I'm interested in playing. Yeah. And bolt action for me was kind of weird. It was like, well, I'm already playing World War II, and then, I started feeling like a crack whore, and I'll tell you why. And and Ed works in the penal system, which is law and order, not of the penis, and I was looking at, and I found myself on sites looking at Civil War, 15 mil, to play. So here I am. I want to paint up an army of North and South. I don't even have a rule set I want to play. And I was looking at Fire and Fury, Brigade and Regimental. Right. But I realized at that point I had a problem. So, I started going to the gym more to get rid of it. And that's just kind of how gaming is.
Yeah. You mentioned that. I actually recently looked at a Civil War rule set after Ken Jacobson had turned me on to.
What was it called?
I think it was Big Bloody Battles or something like that.
Big Bloody Battles?
I believe something like that. But that'd probably be my next era that I will get into.
Yeah, there's so much to play, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and Brian, I've talked about Napoleonics before, and I only have Brits, but I also do 28 mil. I have both British and French, and I know Dennis Campbell's going to freak out, Matt Varnish, but I'm not into black powder. I don't know why.
I'm not either.
I don't know why, because if I'm going to do Napoleonics, I'll do Napoleon at War, but trying Sharp Practice, which is a skirmishy, pulpy rule set. Sean and I tried it a few times. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun games out there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still think, look by the crowd here, Flames of War, I know a lot of people predicted its early death. I think it's still, in pockets, very popular, which kind of brings us here, a guy that works for Battlefront and the No Dice, No Glory crew. How do we revive some of the passion into this game?
I think Brian, he works at Battlefront, and you had a good outlook on it. A new rule set came out. You're going to lose people. You're also going to gain people.
Right.
So those new players you gain, it's going to take a while to acquire, build, and paint the army they acquire. So when the new rule set comes out, attendance for tournaments are going to be down.
Well, and we saw that in Mid-War Nationals.
So now we're a year in, and again, we can look around, and there are several new people. This is their first tournament.
Right.
So now we're getting in the fresh recruits to replace the veteran players that we had lost. And this time next year, who knows what the attendance could look like. This 26 could be a standard for all the tournaments we run.
It could be.
Really what I think what Ed was trying to – because he and I have talked about this at length before because we really love tournaments. It's our thing.
Yeah.
And we thought about it, and it's not just the time to build an army and learn the rules, but it's the individual person has to become comfortable with playing the game and what they believe is their knowledge of the game before they go out and play a tournament, because there are a lot of people who are nervous about it. They don't know necessarily what a tournament is like.
The first time I played this game was showing up at a tournament five years ago, and it's actually where I met Sean, and my first opponent is, dude, I've never played this game before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people do feel that way, but I think that is an impression that is incorrect.
Yeah, it's a very...
False.
Yeah, I think what we need to do as a community is focus on, teaching the new players, not necessarily how to play competitively, but teaching them the rules, teaching them how to play. don't always bring like my IS2 list and smash everybody you play with it, because they're not going to have fun like that. Play
True statement.
a casual army. Play something that you wouldn't necessarily take to a tournament. Let them have a chance. And as they build up their confidence, you'll be able to talk them into going to a tournament.
So I'm going to put you on the spot, and I may be putting John Matthews on the spot here too, because I think he told me this off the record. But he said that this game is more successful, not with the tournament crowd, but with the average club players or the one-off players. Is the tournament route the way to get that excitement back? Or is the tournament route the way to see whether or not the game is popular? Because it could be a false thing. There's people that will never play tournaments.
And you're absolutely right about that. And I'm actually glad you asked the question, because I wanted to talk about this.
We have to ask one good question in the show.
Well, that was the one. A lot of new players aren't interested in tournaments. And wargaming as a culture is shifting and changing a little bit and becoming more casual. We are having outstanding sales. Flames of War is selling better than it's ever sold before. We're selling starter sets and army boxes like nobody's business.
Right.
And there's a lot of new players getting into the game. But what we saw was a drop-off of veteran tournament players, so it looks like the game's not as popular as it used to be when you're looking on paper. But when you look at the sales figures behind it, it's just not the case.
Yeah, which it's kind of guys put you guys in an odd thing of how do you market the game, and one is good for booms and busts, when a lot of people play, but like longevity. I'll tell you what got me into the game is going to Historicon many years ago when it was at King of Prussia and seeing 100 people playing this game. Now, I dig World War II. I think the models are cool. But 100 people playing said, this game can't suck. So it got me interested. And I think like when you go to a tournament and when people see that Flames of War crowd getting smaller, that could drive some I think they're related. I can't prove it. But I think there's a correlation there, because what got me into the game is seeing, my first North American, what's that?
Team Championship.
Not Team Champ. What's the big one that we have at Historicon?
Nationals.
Nationals. There was 135 guys there, and I said, "This is pretty cool." I think that's converting folks to come in. There has to be some type of correlation to get that excitement, because you said sales are up, but
yeah.
And just to be frank, I had to call in a lot of markers, begging people to come.
45 minutes!
That's Brian yelling 45 minutes. That's how long we have left for this interview in the podcast. No, there has to be some way to drive that excitement and get more players playing. Because, I like tournaments, but I would come here and play if I knew there was a set group of guys.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned it. That's exactly why we came out with the organized play kits for Flames of War.
Right.
It's got,
which is why I asked the question.
Yeah, it's got like a little spreadsheet that you keep track of everyone who's been playing and how many games they played, and over time people will get prizes just for playing a certain amount of games, or for fully painting their army, or having a historical-based army. You get some unique dice, tokens, objective markers.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
Yeah, you can get a card box, which is something people have been asking for your unit cards.
Yeah, or like plastic condoms for them.
Yeah, if you're really screwing your opponent.
Whoa, that was pretty good, man.
You mentioned organized play kit, and our club, we've actually had guys who...
Say where your club is, because nobody knows.
Fredericksburg, at your hobby place.
Okay.
People who, when Verge 4 came out, kind of stepped away from Flames of War, they're going there playing games. We got people who have been strictly, ancients, Napoleonics, didn't want to get into Flames of War, now have Flames of War armies. I think the organized play kit gave people, more of an opportunity to hang out with their friends and just do something casually fun.
Whose idea at Battlefront was the organized play kit?
I cannot disclose this information.
All right. Well, you tell them I thought it was an amazing idea.
But I'd be happy to take credit for it, even though I didn't do it.
All right. Is it somebody I might have met?
I have no idea who did it.
Okay.
We'll just say Brian's came up with it, and then when the one person gets offended that
did you come up with
you
it?
took credit for it.
It was not me, no.
Whoever came up with it, it's really good, because it's going to where your base is, and I think that's a great idea. So let's talk about one place that I've never been to. You've been a few times. It's the store down in Norfolk.
Yes, and shame on you.
It's a hike.
I drive 5 hours to get there.
Yeah, I see. Used to have to go to Langley a lot. No. So if I have to go down there for work, yeah. But so that it's thriving there.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
5 people are here from there.
Yeah.
Bill White goes down there.
Ed and I actually kind of helped with the Bests and Bill White to build that community.
Name the store that it's at.
Atlantis Games and Comics in Norfolk.
Yeah.
When we first started going down there and running tournaments, there were about 6 guys, and now they get like 14 on a weekend.
Yeah, it's a real strong crew.
Yeah, and they'll get they don't even have to invite people to come to their tournaments anymore. They have 16 guys, 18 guys show up for an event.
In the past year, I've seen 2 female players from that club.
Yeah, we're gonna. I really want to interview one of them today to see like their thing and how the game is different for women, because if it helps out, I'd get the change. No, don't look at me like that, Brian. But yeah, I mean it's thriving down there.
I've said this multiple times. I truly believe it is the best club as far as experience, as far as being able to play them. They're not going to get that. You don't get that harsh game when you play them.
Well, let's make sure in a year from now we're all sitting around at this tournament next year, because I think this is a success today. I think we should definitely do another one.
Agreed.
I'm thinking one every quarter at least.
Yeah, maybe different. Let's do. I think he wants to do Team Yankee next.
You're going to have to run that one.
Yeah, well, this is a Battlefront No Dice No Glory sponsored event. Of course we'll run it with you guys. But, let's look at Atlantis a year from now. How can we keep that going? Because it's important to keep that going.
Well, I think they're doing a pretty good job of keeping it going themselves, because they really do a lot of outreach to the players in there. Like, they'll pull in new guys who are just walking around the store and say, hey, we're playing a game upstairs. Come check it out.
Like some dude over there was playing with my army because they were looking, and Bob Evans beat me. I'm the ringer, by the way. And I said, not just play. And I think that's what guys we have to do. We have to foster this wherever it exists. And, events like this, you see people coming in, they're looking, seeing what's going on. We want this game to succeed. I know you do because, you work for them. We don't want to see you getting laid off.
I mean, even if I did, I'd still want the game to succeed because it's like my pride and joy.
You like it.
Yeah. I love this game.
One of the things Atlantis does that I think is really good and
give handies to the customers.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they're very handy.
They run escalation campaigns. So it's not just they meet up every weekend on the Sunday and they play a game.
Right.
You can only do that for so long before you lose interest. You don't have much invested in those casual games. They'll run an escalation campaign.
Right.
And then they'll go out and get a new army that they may have not owned before. But it also gets a guy who's somewhat interested. Okay, well, let's start with 500 points. That's, 2 blisters, 20, 30, $40 in. They do well. Oh, okay, well, now I need to make up the jump to next point level, $750.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they're getting the players in. That's how they're continuing their interest. They're playing games and making it so they have an invested interest in it.
So I'm going to transition before we should take a break. But
a lot of people are doing that these days.
Yeah. Brian, I do love you, man. I really do. I know I get on your nerves, but it's because I can. This is going to come out after the embargo of Free Nations is over. And we have a podcast tomorrow that we're going to record that's coming out on the release date, which is the 25th. And we have an article coming out. So this is coming out after. So we could somewhat talk about it, because I know Ed's seen it. You've seen it, right?
I have. I have a copy on my desk.
Yeah.
Hard copy.
Well, hard copy. What do you think of that one?
Well, I suggested when I saw the French that we make a new objective for Team Yankee. Your standard objective size, but it's a
Is this
pile,
going to be insulted of the
pile of rifles.
No. So I'll tell you what, and I did the overview article of it, and I read the book. And first of all, the Australians being in there is a stretch. It really is. But I write in the article, dude, the game is written by the guys down under. You got to let them have it.
Well, it's the only other thing they're known for besides Flames of War is, the Lord of the Rings. We got to give them something.
Yeah, we got to give them something. I mean, even like the cover story is a stretch, but I was going to send Wayne Turner an email because it's like, Commander Lazenby, and there's a lot of old 007 references, and I thought it was funny. But one thing I noticed about the French with the pile of rifles is they have a 5-up morale.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are not interested in closing with and engaging the enemy. They want to be as far away as possible.
So what, 3 times in the century is too much for them?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I want you to tell you, and I don't want to tell a deployment story, but meet the French Foreign Legion. Those guys are all about closing in. But, yes, they wouldn't be fighting in Europe.
And none of them are French.
So, yeah. Oddly, their officers are. But, yeah, I think the French are great. I think the Dutch are going to be seeing a lot of tables because you can do the Leopard 1s, Leopard 2s, the Dutch Gepards, and, the infantry. But I think this is starting to play out, and we had this thing on Facebook about how many points the game should be played at. People are bitching that 64 points is too low. We played it at 45-point demo games. People loved it at 45 points.
I'm not going to lie. I'm starting to get tired of the high point games. There's just so much stuff on the table.
They take so long.
It takes longer. I feel like you have less room to maneuver. It's just I am honestly getting tired of the high point games.
A 6x4 table, 45 points, is fun.
It's maneuverable. But it reminds me of the old WWPD podcast that, the same exact thing came up. Every time a tournament was announced, people would complain about the points. It's either too high, it's too low.
Dude, they
T-34
complain
is going to ruin the game.
Something.
Yeah, they're gonna complain. Everyone is going to complain about something at some point in time. If they really don't want to play that point level, don't show.
It's not your fault. I know Dave sets the points, so we could put it there. But, arguing about points to me is kind of ridiculous. Look, the rules are the common language of the game that we all understand. The forces that we create is individual. One of the things that constrains that is the points level, and complaining about points is, to me, it's kind of ridiculous. Does the game play different at 45 points? I think it's fun. I think it's almost better.
It's just, again, you have a lot more room to maneuver around.
Yeah.
You can really stretch out.
Yeah, like my 45-point list, I'm going to play my Brits. If I got 100 points, I'm just going to bog you with as much Soviet crap as I can down your throat. I'm playing the game differently. I think different point levels makes people look at different capabilities that you can build in your armies. I think it's good for the game. Guys are like, it's too little. I'm like, then play with 1,000 points.
Well, and you're changing a lot of aspects of the game. Like, air power is way more effective in a lower point game because people can't splurge on 30 different AA vehicles.
But they also can't splurge on some of the air power.
That's why you got to weigh your options.
Right.
It's like in a 1,700 point game, you can get everything you need in your army for Flames of War.
All 5 of my platoons today.
Yeah, and in Team Yankee, 100 points gets you everything you need.
Right.
But if you're playing with less than that, you have to make choices.
I think 64 points is the sweet spot.
It makes you really question what you want to specialize in.
We did the 64 point at your hobby, right? You were there.
It was 100.
Oh, it was 100.
Yeah, because I announced the tournament before they said, "Hey, we're going to go with 64 next year."
Yeah, it's fine. So we'll sign off here for a little bit, but North American Nationals are coming up. Team Yankee. It's going to be sandwiched in between the doubles, hosted by Kurt Reese, and, of course, it's mid or early war?
Early war nationals.
Early war nationals at Historicon. Thursday is doubles. Friday is Team Yankee. Friday is...
Saturday.
Saturday is...
Early war.
Early war. We're doing 64 points. We're doing 4 games. This was a Chris Jackson ad. I think people are going to dig the 4th game.
Well, it definitely, separates the winners from the not winners.
Yes, yeah, and it's still going to be the 6-point scale, the winners from the not. You could say losers. The other one too is we're thinking of for that final round. If guys want to say, I'm looking at finishing between 31st and 28th, you could bow out for that 4th round. But if you want to win the tournament, you got to play all 4 rounds. I think we should give people that option. But, at 64 points, 2 hours, we could do it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and we just did that at Cold Wars.
I mean, if you can play 100 points in 2.5 hours, you can do 64 in 2 hours.
Nobody. How many games time out 100 points in 2.5 hours?
A lot.
None of the ones Chris Jackson played.
Yeah, not the ones Chris Jackson played.
Okay, well, he's a superhuman.
He really is.
It's the reason they call him Mr. Team Yankee.
I love him.
How long was our game?
Was it 25, 24 minutes that we played?
It was like 34.
34? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm cutting myself short there.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring up, the games that we played because, I'm the ringer. But, yeah, I'm excited. Brian, thanks for this is Brian's idea. So I'm going to thank him. And we're going to go mix it up with some of the people that are here.
Before we cut off, can we actually talk about 2 tournaments we got coming up?
No.
Ooh. Well, we're going to talk about them anyways, and you can listen.
Well, I got the button. Go ahead, guys. I'm kidding.
All right. So, Ed, you want to talk about the one down in your hobby place because that's your idea?
Yes, June 2nd at Fredericksburg at a store called Your Hobby Place. We're going to have what we're going to call Battle Mania. Again,
Battle Mania.
We're going to go with something different. It's 5 rounds.
Of?
Flames of War, Late War.
Point total.
1,000 points.
What are you What are you, crazy?
5 rounds, an hour and 15 minutes each round.
You're going to have to think of your own missions.
The missions have already been predetermined.
Yo, Joe.
What was that?
The missions have been predetermined and announced.
Why don't you do, tournaments that create a mission? I hate to throw something in there.
Yeah.
Throw in missions that play to...
None of the missions are fair fight.
Wait. How many points did you say again?
1,000.
Oh, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking of Team Yankee 1,000.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, no. That actually sounds
1,000.
pretty neat.
All the missions are predetermined.
Yeah.
None of them are fair fight. So from the get-go, you have to get in someone's face. Should be low points, be room to maneuver.
Yeah.
5 rounds, hour and 15 minutes. It'll end quick.
I
I'm
might
bringing
do
31 tanks.
I might. What are you running?
31 tanks.
No, you're not.
He has
Matildas.
made the list.
Not if you can't make it.
He works
be
for
there.
Battlefront. He can get it easily.
No, if you can't physically get in the door. And that's a great place to have a tournament, by the way.
Yes.
I'll do that. And what's the other one?
The other one Brian will discuss. It was his idea.
So the other one is going to be a narrative kind of campaign tournament for Normandy.
Yeah.
And it's going to be June 30th at Huzzah Hobbies in Ashburn, Virginia.
Okay.
Okay. So it's going to be 1335 Late War, only out of Overlord and Atlantic Wall.
Okay.
Going to enforce red versus blue. Okay. Each side will nominate a captain or field marshal, whatever you want to call him.
Right.
All right. He'll assign.
If you tell me you're going to play on a map and track it that way,
No.
Sean and I are going to kick your ass.
We're not going to do that.
Because we did that once before.
Okay, no, we're not going to do that. So every player is going to be assigned a number by
Yeah.
their team captain. All right, and each team, let's say hypothetically there are 12 people on each team. So the captain will have 4 attack, 4 defend, and 4 maneuver orders
Right.
that he will assign to his various players.
You thought of this all on your own.
Yes.
Yes, and we will place them on a table,
Yeah.
face down, so the opponent side can't see where you're putting who,
Okay.
and they'll do the same thing, and then you'll flip them, and that's who you play against.
So a few years ago, we did a race to Berlin. We had 6 Russian players, 6 Allied players, and 12 German players. And if you won, the captains picked the teams they bid for who would play who. And the tables were themed based on if you won and how far you made it to Berlin. And in the last round, I defended Berlin against Tim Grimmett.
From the Tim Grimmett War College.
Yes. And it was a lot of fun.
Who, by the way, did not show up here today, despite my various pleas.
Yeah, but he'll show up when we do Napoleonics, I promise you. No, that sounds great. So let's make sure that both of those could be found on NoDiceNoGlory.com.
Absolutely.
And
That is his job.
Yeah, that is his job, and we'll throw it out there. But, hey, keep the good work up, guys. And we're going to turn it back to the studio and Sean, and we'll be right back.
Bye.
If I can.
Sometimes Mitch likes to throw it back over to me, even though there aren't really any announcements, so I'm forced to make stuff up. Well, we have an amazing forum and a great website. You guys should go check it out at www.nodicenoGlory.com. There, you can find all your wargaming needs and other great conversation as well. I'm literally making this up as I speak because I was given no announcements by Mitch. So thanks, Mitch. Throwing it back to you, you unprepared bastard.
And we're back. Round 3 is kind of ending. I know that when we left you guys, we didn't tell you that round 1 just ended. But we're sitting here with two of my more favorite players, Tim McClelland, and making a return is Ben Gobel.
Howdy.
Ben, who's we haven't heard from him a long time.
No.
So Ben, it was the first time playing in how long?
Supposedly a year. I don't know. It was last.
No, it's been longer. Than
Historicon, has it really?
Yeah, it's been a lot longer. Yeah, that was Team Yankee. It doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Okay, then yes.
And Tim is from the Pittsburg crew. How many strong came here from Pittsburgh?
5 of us came down.
Wow.
Yeah. So let me tell you about something too that I'm a little not so happy about. So Tim and the Pittsburgh crew, and we've talked about you guys before.
Mm-hmm.
We're running a team tournament.
Correct.
And right now we're looking at canceling it because
of lack of turnout.
Yeah,
so minimum was 6 teams. All we could get were 5.
Which is still 20 players.
20 players,
that's
but over a 2-day tournament, people traveling from out of town.
Yeah, it ain't going to happen.
You're going to be duplicating teams, playing each other, and nobody wants a one-day tournament if they're going to be flying across country.
That's right. So you folks listening to it, I'm gonna prod Tim to holding it again sometime in the next year.
Sure. Yep.
And we're gonna hype it and
to tell more people it's happening.
Well,
you get more teams.
And the other one too is for a team tournament, let's get some kick-ass prize support for that.
Sure.
I'll talk to people about it.
Sure. Okay.
So our big thing. This is a Battlefront sponsored tournament, and I said to Brian, who works for Battlefront, I said, I got a lot of plastic soldier stuff to give out. Yeah, it wasn't that good. So how are your games today, gentlemen? I'm going to go with Tim first.
Yeah, pretty good. First game played against a Japanese player. First time I ever played against.
I played against him
late
too.
War Japanese, yeah.
They're not that good.
No, not that good late war. No, he had some tanks in there, and they kind of just got lit up right quick. And
yeah,
that was the end of that. Although new player, very nice guy,
very nice,
great
guy.
opponent. So hopefully he keeps with it. And,
I told him I am
again.
the ringer. I can't win, and he's just coming at me, and I'm like, dude, don't do this.
Right.
Second game was against.
Second game was against Best Junior, and tougher opponent definitely. Best is a very good opponent. We had some real disagreement. It got a little heated, but certainly thinking about rage quitting or anything like that would certainly be
because you would never rage quit.
I would never rage quit. I got to talk my differences.
That's right.
My differences with my opponent for sure.
Because rage quitting to me is you're insulting yourself.
Oh yeah.
And your other player. And why are you laughing, Ben?
I might have rage quitted. I don't
you
know.
might have rage quit.
No, I did.
How do you not know if you rage quit?
I don't know. There was a lot of rage. It was a blind. I was blinded by my rage.
What anger monkey was on your back?
I don't like to explain rules that should be obvious. What can I say?
Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
And I love you.
Of course.
But when I first started, you're a dick.
I'm a huge dick. It's a huge dick. That's.
And it's
fact.
I got to tell you, and I love you, but I think we played maybe 2 years ago, and the way you flip dice, I wanted to take a shovel and bludgeon you with it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's it was visceral. I was crazy. How'd your last game go, Tim?
Played Mr. Sullivan with an IS-2 company. Went well.
What were you running? You were running U.S.
I was running armored rifles.
Shenanigans.
Out of Bridge of Remagen, so I had 2 short platoons of armored rifles, backed up by TDs, 3 Jacksons and a Wolverine, and then a platoon of 5 Shermans, jumbo, upgunned, up-armored, Easy-8s, and 105 Sherman. So Brian he missed some armor saves when I was shooting with those 76s, so I took out a platoon. He only had 3.
Did Brian rage quit?
He did not. No, he was in it till the end.
Right.
And I won fair and square.
Because Brian, Brian has a bad temper. He would never rage quit.
Never, no. He is an honorable opponent.
He is.
We shook hands amicably at the end of the game.
Right. But he would never rage quit.
Certainly not. No.
But you look at him and you're like, this guy really can machine gun everybody in here.
He might, yeah.
We do call him There he is. We do call him Al Qaeda of Virginia, but no, just
All right.
kidding.
All right.
We're giving Mr. Gobel a hard time for rage quitting.
Yes, yes. Just a little
Right.
one.
Which means he's out of any prize support.
Oh, no.
Right.
Because I need more.
Yeah. So, Tim, you used to be a big German player.
Yes, sir.
Why the switch?
All right. Well, the full story is my grandfather was in the 78th Infantry.
Okay.
They crossed the Bridget Remagen right after the 9th Armored. So I kind of wanted to, once Bridget Remagen came out, I wanted to get into Americans then. So I picked it up a couple years ago.
And you were at Masters last year?
That's correct.
And what'd you run there, Americans?
Germans. It was early war. So difficult to run Americans unless you're doing USMC.
So are you gonna go back to Germans, or are you gonna stick with for late war?
It depends on how I'm feeling for that tournament, you know?
It's good.
What tickles my fancy. Yeah,
So
it's always good to...
We're telling people to get more than
ride
one
your
army.
horizons. Yeah, definitely,
Not
yeah.
like rage quitting. Not cool.
rage quitting, no. no.
Artie
mean-
Parks.
Artie Parks.
Dick move.
Wow, you're just rubbing it in, aren't you?
Ben, this show has missed you.
I don't think miss is the right word.
Oh, and by the way, even though this is going to come out in a week, the Capitals have won 3 in a row, and they've won 4-3 in overtime, and I'm happy. My wife was at the game with my son because playoff hockey, I got guilted into coming here. Anyway, that was it, too. So Pittsburgh crew, man, very strong.
Yeah.
Love seeing you guys.
Thank you.
Are you guys...
When are we going to get some Virginia crew up there?
I don't know. You know, if I decide to retire again, yes.
Okay.
But, like, what is keeping that thing alive in your store?
We just have a good group of guys. We probably have 8 guys that turn out regularly on
You have
Friday
an awesome
nights.
group of guys.
Yeah, so...
It's good to see Mark Magnuson back.
Yes. He got away from work for a little bit there, so he's able to he's been coming out for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, and I love seeing Ben. But, you know,
Yeah.
Ben got married.
Unfortunately, he did.
Not this Ben.
No, and he seems different.
I mean, he's still the regular Ben, just, you know,
He's not, no.
he got to spend some time with the wife every now and again.
You know, but yeah, I remember we had a story about, like, letters of the alphabet and poop, and
Oh, yeah.
he used to
definitely.
find that funny, but now he's like, guys, I'm married now.
I think if you get him behind closed doors and in private and a couple beers,
Yeah.
he would find that
It's kind of scary.
just as funny.
So you guys play mid-war at all in Pittsburgh?
No, not particularly.
Did you-
Because of the lack of lists. We'll be waiting for the Soviets because we have a lot of Soviet players in Pittsburgh, so once the Soviet book comes out, I'm sure that we will get into mid-war pretty hot and heavy.
You know what's kind of crazy, and maybe I'm right or wrong about this. Tell me if I'm wrong. No problem. A lot of people are really holding out hope for the Soviet and the German Eastern Front lists. Mm-hmm. And looking at what's coming out, like, I like the Italians, but it seems like the Italians were, as they built, I don't know if you've read it, they built that to kind of be the antidote to the Americans. Like, they're making these books thinking about the other books that they've written, like how to...
It's not a good way to build a game.
Yeah, like
a horrible way to
trying
build
to
a game.
change the balance or the meta, as it were.
Sure.
You
I'm
end up
worried.
creep.
Yeah, I'm worried about this book, like, being a kind of a swing and a miss.
Yeah.
I'm really worried about it.
I mean, I think the other books have been pretty watered down, especially, the British, German, and American books. You know, the flavor that you had from North Africa isn't there anymore.
It's not there anymore. Yes.
So, you're not going to get, I think Eastern Front Eastern Front, it probably had a dozen, 14, 16 German lists in there of different flavors.
You're not going to get
And you're
that.
going to get Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, Panzer Company, and Schwerpanzer.
Yeah, like, I picked my list from version 4 Forces, and I'm like, pulling out Panzer 4s, and I'm like, I want to make sure I pull the ones with the Panzer Lehr symbol on. Well, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And I miss that.
Yeah.
Because, 78th Infantry, because it means something to you.
Right.
But let's look at the American version 4 late war list from the book.
Yep.
You can make it whatever division you want.
Right.
And you could give it whatever flavor you...
I mean, I just think the new lists are very generic, and that's a lot of the reason. Some of the reason why we haven't really dabbled in mid-war much either, because it's the number of lists, the variety, just isn't there to tickle everybody's fancy.
So I'm going to ask some personal questions. Ben's like, when are you going to talk about me?
I'm cool.
This show
Go
is
for it.
usually all about you, Ben, especially when you're not here.
It's actually nice,
So, like, I remember playing you about 4 years ago, and, you're a great player, but and I noticed everybody in the Pittsburgh crew has been getting a little bit better. Is that because you guys are playing often, or are you sitting there breaking down the game? Really, you're laughing.
Well, I mean, we play every Friday. You come out on Friday to Legions, and you'll see 8 of us there, and we'll be playing a couple games each night. So yeah, we get a lot of games under our belt. I wouldn't say that we really dissect the lists and figure out a meta.
Whoa. Metas don't exist.
Okay, very good.
He doesn't believe in them.
That's fine. But, I mean, we're not getting into, min-maxing and taking an arty park or taking a horde of tanks.
Because you know what they call the guy who takes an arty park? A dick.
All right, sure.
He used to play an arty.
Yes.
Park.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Literally the first list I built because I was told artillery sucked.
It does again.
I disagree.
In certain circumstances.
I disagree.
Certain circumstances.
So, I mean, it's just a combination of us getting our time in, getting some seat time. I would say that there are still groups out there that trump us, like Able Company. I mean,
They're good.
they're just a brain trust out there of flames. Yeah.
So for guys that think about list building, give me some elements that that you have to have in a list and why. I know these are good questions, aren't they? You're shocked. I really thought you were a moron before, but now you're an asshole. No,
right.
No, that's what he's saying to me. So
No, I would never say that.
that's my okay.
Think it though.
I think you got to have something with smoke, some cheap mortars to get that smoke down.
Right.
And then you just build from there. If I'm going Germans, I'm probably going to put in something that can't be killed, like a KT. Or if I go earlier, I'm going to put in some Char-B flamers. And, I think that soaks up a lot of the attention from players. They're worried about that when really you can just skirt around them. And they're a big point sink, so not much else around them. As Americans, tank destroyers, especially with their new, what the heck is that Scout?
Seek and scout and...
Well, yeah, being able to move and still being gone to ground. The old cautious movement.
Rule,
Yeah.
So, Americans, they can pack a punch, but they're lightly armored. I think that's the way to go. And you got to have some Shermans in there just to throw all those machine gun dice at the infantry.
Yeah. What's your favorite German list?
My favorite German
I know you have
list,
one. That's why I'm asking.
Late war. Now, this was version 3. It was Whitman, but that was only in a Normandy event because I think Tigers got outclassed later on in late war.
It's kind of funny where it's the most feared tank of the war.
Sure.
And it's not even the best German tank in late war.
Well, that's because a lot of the tanks, let's be honest, the King Tiger's kind of king of their stuff.
Sure.
But it's far more reliable than it should be on the tabletop.
Scott McLemore has more King Tigers in his collection than the Germans ever made.
Right.
That is not actually true, but close. It's close count.
Working King Tigers.
I'll agree there.
I think Tiger lists kind of went down the tubes in version 4 with the new. You got to have 2 tanks operational. So if you tank 2 tank,
I'm going to disagree with you on that one, because you have to bail that Tiger.
Well, you got to kill it, and that's easy to do.
Well, okay. Well,
when people were throwing 13s at you, and you got IL-2s buzzing around, oh man, those guys go down there.
Yeah, front armor 9
against IL-2s, no.
Oh wait, sorry. Are we talking Tigers or King Tigers?
Just Tiger 1s.
Oh well, then of course, yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. Kill those all day.
I killed a Tiger today with my Panzer IV. Nice. I mean, it's not because I'm a great tactician. The guy rolls a 1.
Right.
I'm an AT-11.
Yes, yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, no. Yeah, Tiger 1s are impossible to play.
Right. So my Whitman list has kind of gone down the tubes in version 4.
It's unfortunate.
You know, at larger point lists, you can take Whitman and Barkman. 2 formations.
Sure.
Would you do that?
No.
Because that's like Barkman's 375 points?
Something like that.
Okay.
And what's Whitman?
Whitman, he's going to be 315 to get him in a tank.
Yeah.
And then you got to get 2 platoons of 2 Fearless Vet Tigers. That's probably...
That's all you need.
No,
it's...
I think it would be tough to do.
Huh?
Sure, that'd be tough to do. As long as you didn't face anybody against...
I think you can do it.
If you could just play against people with Shermans, that would be an awesome list.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as soon as one armored rifle platoon stepped onto the board...
it's kind of funny because
start kissing those Tigers.
In real life, would Whitman and Barkman be scared of an armored rifle platoon?
Probably.
You think they would?
Oh, definitely.
Huh. Why? Because it's like we can't kill all these Americans in one shot? Or
maybe. I mean,
we're going to run out of ammo.
I don't think they'd put themselves in a position where they would be overrun.
Right. They were good tactical Germans.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, so I never asked you this. He's like, Jesus, not another question. What else do you play besides Flames of War? And if you don't play anything else, that's cool too.
We just talking miniatures or like what else I do in my free
anything
time?
else?
I play no other miniature games. I have no time or room in my heart for Flames of War.
Okay.
I coach lacrosse. Played a lot of computer games.
I don't know if my son won his lacrosse game today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Father of the Year here.
Well, because I was here, ass crack. So I had to go to one of his practices, and my wife's like, "Why are you leaving?" I go, "Because the ball's on the ground all the time, and I can't stand that."
Right.
Because, yeah.
You lacrosse guy?
Yes.
Very nice.
And I'm like, I can't stand this anymore. I have to get out of here.
Sure.
And what video games? What computer games? We're not going to make fun of you.
A game called Steel Division. I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, yes. Did you play the precursor, the Cold War game?
No, I never played any of the other Eugen Egan
You know what's
games.
weird? I played the hell out of those, but Steel Divisions, and they just came out with a new DLC, didn't they?
Yep.
That looks like a good game. I can't sit in front of the computer anymore.
Sure.
It's a lot because I'm looking at a lot of porn.
Right.
Let's be honest. But yeah, that is an amazing game.
It is an amazing game, and one of the things about the being anonymous online is you can rage quit without people making fun of you. And I do that quite often.
Bringing it back.
Do you really?
Sometimes, if it's going down.
You wouldn't
the
do that
tubes,
here.
No, because I'd have to live with it.
Yeah. So a guy came up and he said, "This is my opponent rage quit." I go, "Ben Gobel?" And he was very nice. He was upset that you were, and I said he's a very angry young man.
That is true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So
a lot of anger in me.
So here we are. We've all been playing this game for a long time. It seems like we're still enjoying it. What if let's say Battlefront were to listen to one of these, or at least this, an hour 45 minutes into a podcast, and they're still awake down there. Wayne, Chris, yep. I'm being given here a note from the. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the winner of the tournament.
Damn it!
I'm
Pete Surfy.
Yep.
Yeah. But you probably are third.
I'm third.
You may be third. Because of your non-win, you may be third. We're whispering, but by the time this comes out,
everybody will know.
Everybody will know.
Sorry, Tim.
So. But yeah, let's say you were to king for a day, make a wish list. Give me a couple things you'd like to see.
Shooting too successful.
Yeah.
I'm context. You mean bringing it back? Because apparently,
bring it back, baby.
Why? So for those of you who obviously don't know, this is my first time, as we said earlier, playing in a while. Found out that rule doesn't exist. Why? What happened to it?
I don't know.
So
you guys do know, and it was released in the NOM rules, but they're going to make all the rules the same.
What do you mean?
For all the games. Team Yankee, NOM, Fate of a Nation.
I assume that was coming with the way V4 went.
So it's going to be version 5, I guess, for Flames. There's some minor tweaks. You can look at it in the NOM book. I don't know if it's in there or not.
Okay.
But they're doing that so everybody can enjoy their games, which means that every module of Flames, Team whatever, will have more special rules. I missed that too because I tried doing it today.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with let's make those armor rifle single mortars less effective. Holy
what were they
cow.
killing?
Now wait a second.
Infantry, a crud ton of infantry, right?
Yeah.
The fact that this one thing that happens to come with on top of a really good unit can clear out infantry pretty effectively seems a little ridiculous.
What are the numbers on a single tube?
And on a single tube?
On a single tube? 1 in 16.
We are conferring with Ben.
Ben is the
they're 4 firepower. They're 4 firepower. I'm not saying they're not killing tanks. They're not killing tanks.
Give him 30 seconds, he said.
But if you're killing infantry like it's your job, because they can maintain ranged in.
Sure.
Which across the board probably a good improvement, but that 1-2 being able to clear out an entire unit because a little much, particularly when you look at everybody else's, let's take the British mortar, right, who runs around and has to direct fire that. It's a little much.
All right, so let's talk about some numbers here.
All right.
Okay. What's under the template?
Let's say a German infantry platoon.
Vet. Okay, so you need 2 4s to hit. That's 25%. 50% of the time you make the save, 50% I go for the kill. So that is 1 in 8. Now I got to make the firepower, so I got 1 in 16 chance. So if you had 16 vet, underneath a
See,
single
no, wait,
60 millimeter
context
mortar.
here. No, context here. So you bought an armored rifle platoon.
Yeah.
I bought a Panzer Grenadier platoon.
Okay.
I have half tracks that don't have 50 cals. I
Okay.
don't have a free template,
Sure.
and I don't have 4 bazookas. But I've got MGs. That seems reasonable.
So you're
that seems like a
unassaultable.
balance. No, you'll assault me because you have all your half tracks with 50 cals.
No.
Oh, and you're right. You're right. You can't assault me, but you have that mortar that's going to make me reroll saves.
Do you know what I was just thinking of right now? Damn, Ben, I missed you.
So again, we'll use that as our example. So my option as the German player is to sit in my foxholes and go, well, just because math, yes, you're the number of losses per turn is small, but we play a game that has infinite turns, I lose. Or hop into my half tracks where your 50 cows eat me alive. So how does that seem balanced?
So if I'm going one-on-one with your platoon and there's
Sure.
no other support that you have around your guys, you screwed up.
Okay, so I agree, but again,
If you
the,
think-
the utility of a American armor rifle is significantly higher than literally any other unit in the game. Any other core infantry unit.
So against vets, 7% chance of 1, 2, 4 plus killing something with ranged in.
How many guys on the template?
I politely disagree.
7% chance for each
For each guys. Cool. So again, I get it. I understand how
The only
math
reason
works.
why I'm letting you guys continue this on the podcast is because we make fun of Ben a lot.
of course,
And
of course.
they don't understand why do we make fun of you.
It's them
and
the
now they know.
And now they know. No,
Yeah.
again, I get that the 7%, right? But how much did you pay for that single mortar?
It's wrapped up into the price.
Yeah.
Yes.
Probably
And
30 points.
what I'm saying is, if you were playing literally any other army, would you not happily pay 5 to 10 points to add a mortar to every?
I'm still not seeing what your problem is here.
Oh, yeah.
It slows the game down, but when people
Ben,
attack,
they can't hear you on the radio. This is whoa. We the dirigible has hit the tower.
oh, the humanity.
Here, Ben, you could just hold it and then there you go. Everybody, Ben, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Ben Ivanza. I know we're talking about these 60 millimeter mortars, but if I see someone bringing a 60 millimeter and actually thinking it's going to do something, I think that works in my favor because I know the math says it's not going to make a difference. I mean,
I disagree.
This is a numbers game.
I mean, I also agree with that, obviously. But the fact that you can park that mortar out of line of sight and have it shoot all day, yeah. I agree that it's not going to win the game by itself, but the fact that it can significantly clear out infantry, that's a little bit much.
what's significant?
What's significant?
Well, I'll be honest. I did not have any infantry in my list, so I can't give you exact numbers. Well, but the number of times my trained things were being hit, because, well, you might as well. It does seem significant, right? I honestly had my top armor 0 guys bailed probably once every other turn, at least one guy.
So you rolled a 1 on your armor save against
Yeah.
a 60 mil.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not the 60
So
mil's fault.
my point
Right.
being is that 2 guys dead every turn.
You know,
Again, your fault.
yeah.
That's just math. Sorry, that's math. That's, I mean, I guess bad luck, but they're hitting 4 teams, and every other turn I bailed a guy. So yes, I get 7%, but it happens.
The dice will even out.
Yeah. The dice evens out. It's
My-
karma.
Oh, it's karma.
My
I mean,
last game, 5 shots killed 3 AT guns. 3 of those shots were machine guns. I lost the platoon without firing a shot, but eventually,
I think we need to ban machine guns here then.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean,
so
Well, anyway, the reason why I was so excited about this is because, Ben, people wondered why we gave you a hard time.
yeah.
But I'm just going to ask you guys, because I'm going to start tabulating the scores. Did you guys have a good time today?
Absolutely.
I want to thank you for coming out from Pittsburgh. Love the Pittsburgh crew. We want to give you guys some love. Please, what store do you play at?
Legion's Games.
And where can I
Pittsburgh?
find that?
Legionsgames.com, I believe, is the website.
Okay, and if you're ever in Pittsburgh, bring your force. I love these guys, all of them. Ben, not so much since he's got married. He's really calmed down.
not me.
You are. You're different now. Now he's looking at me like,
Am
I
I-
can't believe you're saying that about me.
I didn't gain that much weight, Mitch.
Whoa. And Ben, I appreciate you coming back out. Are we going to see you again at a Flames table?
We'll see. Probably.
All
I
right.
mean, if people actually tell me when the events are.
Can you please do an AMA on our forum when this comes out?
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we're going to turn it back to Sean.
See? He turned it back to me again without giving me any announcements. It's like I'm out here without a rope or an anchor or a rudder or anything. But I love you guys, and I hope you're enjoying today's podcast. If you are, feel free to give us a follow on the Twitters at NDNG and hang out on the website at www.nodicenoGlory.com. And don't forget to give Mitch a giant pile of poo for throwing it over to people when they don't have any announcements. Back to the podcast.
Well, we're back for our final installment of this edition of On the Road, and I'm with the Copelands. Now, we have a lot of brother teams, the Gobels, but this is a married team, and Jim has been on the show before. Jim, I've known you for a couple of years playing, but
Several years.
I'm going to ask you a question. Don't be upset by this. Why the hell would you get your wife into playing this game? Like, what possessed you to do this?
Well, it wasn't so much that I got her to play the game as she got upset that I kept going away for weekends at a time. And then it became now she just wants to beat me.
Is that really what it is?
I'm pretty
It's
sure.
true. That is my goal in a tournament, is to be able to beat my husband in a tournament.
Should I, I don't believe in being a Blue Falcon here. I don't know if you know what that is. But your husband said, I'll give you $5 if I don't play my wife at this tournament.
You did not try to bribe him.
I did not say $5. I said $50.
Yeah.
And no, I didn't
Look at that. She's really pissed.
See, and this is why I asked you not to.
No. He didn't offer me any money. See, that's a good way of answering that one. No, I'm only kidding. So you wanted to do this.
I did. It only took Austin 5 years of marriage to finally get me to agree to play at the house, and then he got me into our local game store.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was the local game store that played a big part in that, because the group that he started playing with up in Northern Virginia...
We're assholes.
Kind of.
Yeah, I know. I was one of them.
But I remember you. I liked you.
No,
and
that
there
is...
was one
Stop lying.
There was one other gentleman that I really did like.
Bill Pittman.
Bill Pittman.
You like
I
Bill?
really liked him.
Oh.
But the
Yeah, it's good to know.
757 group, I get along with all of them.
No, they're good people.
I love our group.
They really are.
And they played a big part in me coming back to play more at the game store, and then actually participating in a tournament, because I was incredibly nervous my first tournament.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I mean, he has gotten, like, especially when you look at a teacher, does he, like, all the time, like, you're in the middle of, like, doing something?
He
like,
tries.
And he's like, how many machines does an HMG have?
I'll
I mean,
smack him and I'll make
how
him
many
walk
shots?
away.
Really?
Because my game is my game. And if it's in the first tournament I was in at Atlantis, one of my opponents, Austin walked up just to watch, and he got very angry. And
My
told
wife
him
won't
he
even
had
play
to walk
Trivial
away.
Pursuit with me.
Well, we don't play Monopoly together because
No.
someone will die.
Monopoly will end our marriage.
So you're very competitive.
I am, but I'm nicer about it.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, it's, it's really kind of weird. Like, so I'm here. My wife went to the hockey game, playoff hockey game with my son today. Really? She doesn't even like, how far is it? How many nights do I have without having to put up with you? But no, it's really kind of awesome. So what list are you playing?
Today I played a Soviet Tankovy list.
Yeah.
I decided that Soviets were my army.
Why?
So
Why? What about them?
not many people in our local group play them
Right.
actively, so that was a big proponent, as well as my husband doesn't play them.
I have no Soviets. I have
Yeah.
Romanians, which are kind of like Soviets. I
Yeah,
guess.
they're kind of like Soviets.
And
So-
I really like the T-34.
So before this game, like, what games did you play? Obviously, it's not your first time playing a game.
I'm more of a book nerd than a gamer.
We all are. Look around here.
So I read a lot and I sell.
What's the last good book you read?
The last good book?
Last book you read?
Oh, geez.
It's
I
a tough question,
think
I know.
I reread a series by D. Henderson,
Look,
the O'Malley series.
James is just not smiling. He's like, I got to hear this all the way home.
She reads these books. I don't know.
Really?
She's
No, it's
quiet.
kind of neat. Like, and you guys talk about Flames of War, like strategies or...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We do practice games at the house, so if I have a new list I want to try out, I'll run it against her. And if she needs practice, like our last mid-war tournament we did, she wanted to make sure that she could do the infantry, because last tournament was the first time ever she was using infantry.
And it was mid-war, so I couldn't take my Soviets, so I had to use his British.
He loves the British.
He does.
He does. And it's good. I mean, it's fun. So if you guys had another kid, would you name that kid Strelkovy?
Well, we are about to have another kid.
Congratulations.
In September.
This is a NDNG first. It's a Festivus miracle. So, Strelkovy is a great... You don't know boy, girl yet, right?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll be naming the baby that.
You know what we should do? And this is also a lot of fun, is we can have a contest online. And whoever donates the most money can name the kid. So I'm going to give you $5,000 for Chalupa Batman right now. No, congratulations. Really, it's a great thing. If you won, I can give you my 11-year-old at any time. Pain in my ass.
I
We
think
have
we're
a
all out of
4-year-old
11-year-olds.
who likes to destroy our armies, so...
Really?
Yes.
Well, he wants to play.
What is he going to play?
Well, knowing Logan, I'm going to say the most destructive thing that he could play. So
Germans.
Germans.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, like, in a couple of years, you can probably play tanks with him, the game Tanks.
Yes.
Yeah, he loves World of Tanks.
Does he?
Yes.
You let him online?
Oh, he
He
plays.
sits on our laps.
Really?
We'll let him move the mouse around. We both play World of Tanks.
Do you really?
Yes.
I used to play that game like it was a job to play. It's a long story. Anyway, I'm a little nervous about having my kid play those games because I hear a lot of racist things that are said online. And
I turn sound off.
Yeah, I do too. So the other day, my son was playing Fortnite, and he comes upstairs. He's all upset that they said he sucked, and he was really upset. And then the other day, like a week later, I was in my room painting, and I hear him like jawing, like, "You suck! Oh, you're a hacker!" And I yelled at him. Everybody online heard. So yeah, it was interesting too.
Well, I am sad to hear that your son was getting a hard time online, because that's never a good thing. However,
it really isn't.
Has your son ever come up to you to tell you that you suck?
All the time.
Yeah, we were playing a game, and I got killed, and I was like, oh, man, that sucks. And he goes, Daddy, you dead. You're bad.
Yeah.
Oh, and he roots for me. When we're
Okay.
playing against each other, he comes over and sits beside me.
Are you guys in a clan together?
No clans.
No.
Speaking of
these-
racism.
these
No,
are-
just
these are
kidding.
Flames of War. Yeah, my son is all about me losing, so.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
He
What's your
is
favorite tank in
totally
Flames of
favor
War?
Mom. My favorite tank?
Yeah.
Flames of War?
I mean, no.
Oh,
In,
World of Tanks.
World of Tanks. We cover all gaming on this site.
I really love my Scorpion G.
That is a...
It's a German TD, Tier 8
TD.
TD.
Yeah, I haven't
It's
played
a
the game
premium-
in like
it's
2
a
years.
premium tank.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's
What's
got
your
really
favorite
nice-
tier 10?
I don't have a tier 10 yet. My
I'll
next
tell you
favorite
what.
tank is actually a tier 3.
I will give you my account to sign on. You could go...
Go nuts.
You could shoot all my gold ammo up.
What do you think of the Bat Chat 25T?
I love the Bat Chat.
That was my first tier 10 and
I
my
love the
favorite
Bat
one.
Chat. Yeah.
6
You can't
rounds.
take a hit.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, Bat Chat is like really, really good. You see, and I haven't played it, so I don't know if it's any good, but like... And once you get that crew and they can do that auto reloader, Bat Chat's really good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I know. We're talking about gaming. No, it's kind of cool that you guys can do this. I don't know. Like, definitely this wouldn't fly in my house. But do you enjoy it?
I do. My favorite subject in school was math, and there's math and there's strategy in this.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that.
So you think about the statistics before you go in. What's the chances this, vice this?
Yes.
Wow.
And sometimes that can be my downfall because I overthink it.
So the fact that you can add, you still can't beat him, huh? I've never seen him do math.
I mean, we haven't played in a tournament. I've beaten him at home quite a lot. He's actually only beaten me one time.
So what would that be like if he beat you in a tournament? Because he's a good player. Like, what would that ride home be like?
It would be interesting.
So,
Be interesting.
Because you hold grudges, I bet.
Sometimes.
It's chromosomal. It's fine. It's whatever. Right. And does he, like, make fun of you or...
Yes.
Only the way she talks. Like, what would you call a two-masted sailing
Oh,
ship?
come on. Drop it already.
A schooner?
That's what I would call it.
What does she call it?
I'm pleading the fifth.
What did you call it?
A schooner.
A schooner? Oh.
So
I did say I was really good at math, okay?
Yeah.
Did you go to shul?
Yeah. I'm glad that I knew that it was a two-masted sailing ship. So I mean, it's good that you guys could kind of laugh about this because, like I said, I know about you. I would get my ass kicked in my house. I married an Irish. Yeah, anyway.
Well, I'm married half Irish, half Cuban, so.
You're half Irish, half Cuban.
I am.
That is. Wow. That is.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I like the Soviets.
Yeah. So you definitely like islands.
And communists.
Yeah. Wow. So it's fun.
I think I felt like I could relate to the Soviets.
You can. Yeah. Well, I'm from a long line of commies, real commies, so it's all good. So Soviets, you play them middle war, mid-war, early war as well?
That's the goal, and hopefully, I think you said mid-war Soviets is coming out later this year.
Yeah, Eastern Front.
Yep,
Are you guys excited for that?
I am so excited for that. I can play my
Go ahead.
Soviets mid-war.
I'm just waiting for mid-war Romanians to come back.
I'm a little nervous about, and we talked about this in the last segment, that a lot of people are really holding hope out for that, and I'm scared that it may be.
I'm a little worried how they're going to point it because
I'm a little worried.
Churchill's with 33 points for 3, and that's ridiculous. So
Right.
what is something with a front armor 9 AT-12 going to be like?
Yeah.
50 points for a platoon.
Well,
of
we
3?
already know how much a Tiger cost.
Yeah.
How much do you think a Panther's going to cost in
It's
this game?
better than a Tiger.
Right. So, I mean, what's it going to cost? I'm a little nervous. What's a T-34 going to be? That is my biggest fear.
I think a T-34 is going to be very similar to a Sherman. Maybe we might
Really?
get a little point reduction for.
What about a KV? Did you run KVs?
No, they're a little big and pricey for me. I like being able to have more. And I really just like the T-34. I don't even
It's a
want to
sleek-looking
upgrade
tank.
them.
There's and I hate to say it, there's something about certain pieces of equipment, like we like to say, it has a physical appeal to it. Is that the PC way of saying it? There's something sexy about the certain tanks.
The T-34s are nice, and they can do some damage.
They can. Yeah, run by 3-4 farm boys from Kiev. It's not bad.
I mean, even in late war, even if you just take the basic, that AT-9, when you run 31 of them, you can only shoot so many before they get on your side.
In early war, you do Russians too, Soviets.
I have played them in early war.
Yeah. So not 31 in early war. I think
No,
6.
it was much less.
Yeah,
much
because you
less.
can't run that much. What about air?
The Sturmovik
Yes.
is God.
I was waiting to hear. That would be a great name for a child. Sturmovik Strelkovi Copeland. That'd be awesome.
I could almost go with Sturm. Then we can call him like
Sturmy.
Sturm.
How about
Hey,
Zhukov?
Sturm.
Zhukov.
On the ride up, we were actually talking, and I was like, you like the name. So I was like, Theodore, we both liked. I was like, well, what about Winston? I really like Winston. And he was important.
No.
She's like, no. I was like,
Why? Because he's
I know.
British?
And
He was
that's
half American.
No, Austin doesn't want to name, if it's a boy, doesn't want to name him Moses because that's too big of a name to live up to. So if that's too big of a name to live up to, then Winston sure as hell is too big of a name to live
Moses
up to
is
as
a cool
well.
name. Moses
you.
Copeland?
and I said
And
yes.
I don't know if you recognize Jochebed is Moses' mother in the Bible.
Right.
That's
so
ridiculous.
obviously, if
How
it's
do you
a
know
boy,
all this?
I need to name him Moses.
You've read the Bible?
I have.
Okay. I'm Rastafarian, so it's...
I am a Christian, and I have read the Bible.
Okay. Yeah,
Now-
we smoke a lot of weed.
Being in the Navy, I'm a big fan. I said we could do Moses if we could call the kid Mo after the battleship.
My kid is
Montana.
not being
Yeah, the big
nicknamed
Mo.
Mo.
Mighty
Yeah.
Mo.
No.
Yeah. Well, what's the big... That's my wife's name.
My kid is not being nicknamed Mo.
Mighty Mo, right, with the 16-inch mouth. You can hear it from miles around. But
See?
it's shortened from Maureen.
That can go so wrong so quickly.
I have no idea. Can you explain that to me? But Joe, what is Joe short for?
Jochebed.
Really? That's your name?
That's my name.
That's an awesome name.
Moses' mother.
Yeah, it
and
is.
yes, I heard the Jochebed that tells jokes. My own sisters did that to
She
me.
gave that child away.
She did to save
Float
his
him down
life.
there, save his life. And look at him. Split the Red Sea in two.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't even get a ferry across that place now. It's a long story. We're not going to go biblical on you guys on here. But, it's cool that, he said, oh, my wife's going to – I saw him at the Team Yankee tournament, and I'm like, Huh. Was that done on a dare, or does he? But it's like really like you. I watched some of the games, and I'm like, yeah. Now, when you go to a tournament, is this your first non-Atlantis tournament?
No, we actually played last weekend. We drove 6.5 hours down to Greenville, South Carolina, to play at Borderlands.
Wow.
That's another great group down there.
So if you look around here, you're looking at a lot of dudes that like. They're not used to seeing a woman at these events, and
no, they are not.
And you sit down across from them, and they're like,
I
"You
think
ever have one of these
only
guys?"
play in their favor.
Third round, he was Kurt. Yes,
Yeah,
was
Kurt
very
Reese.
surprised. He went, "Okay, I'm playing Joe," and I walked up. He went, "Oh, Joe."
Yeah, yeah. I just kind of wonder, like, it's because a lot of these guys. I mean, it's a very male environment now.
Yes.
And you don't have to answer this. You've been treated with total, other than this podcast, you've been treated with total respect by everybody in the gaming community, because that is a problem that we have.
No, I've had nothing but support and help every game I've played. Last weekend, the second game I actually won, and the poor guy, he took it very well, but he got ribbed a lot.
You lost to a girl.
From his friends, that he lost to not just a girl, but a pregnant woman. That was just a double whammy.
Yeah.
And he took it great, and the third game and the first game, great opponents.
Can I ask a question? So, when is the due date? September, right?
September 25th.
So I wonder, for Historicon, can you by yourself play in doubles? I'm gonna have to.
I'll be two.
I'm gonna have to.
I wonder if that would count.
I'm gonna have to ask the TO. See if that can. I'm sorry, dude.
I think we can run it.
Yeah.
Well, we were actually thinking about the doubles tournament.
We're planning on going to Historicon.
Oh, and play together at the doubles
and
tournament?
playing doubles
That's the plan.
together.
Do you play Team Yankee?
I do not.
You should. You should. So here's the thing for Team Yankee. You guys will both be there for that event. I will give you a British Army.
I'll hopefully have mine done by then.
And I will give you a Soviet one, and you can play with my stuff. No problem, because I'll be running it. So, the reason why I asked that, because in the video game world, there's been a lot of problems with guys not knowing how to behave to the women that
Towards
game,
women.
and I think it's abhorrent. But from going to these events, I think that what we should do is get a lot of women to come and troll the dudes, because a lot of these guys would really just, they would just like shrink away. What do you think?
Well, I told Joe, one of the, I think the major selling points she has going into the game is no one's played against a woman before, so that can only help you.
Well, Ben Gobel. Okay, so anyway, we love Ben. Ben's the show mascot, too. But, I mean, I thought it was really kind of neat. I want to talk to you guys again after you do doubles together. Now, if he makes a stupid move at doubles, are you going to, start yelling and screaming at him?
Honestly, I think I'd be more likely to make the stupid move than he would.
No.
I make my fair share of stupid moves. I tried to do an assault today.
Yes, but
and
you
it didn't go so
recover
well. Yeah, well, barely.
I mean, does he, when you guys play together, does he ask for directions?
There have been a few disagreements on rules, and I have lost a few of them.
Really? Because she knows them.
It started out that he tried to fib about the rules.
He lied.
Oh, you can't be within 16 inches when you do a test. Nah, it's 8 inches. I know that one.
Really?
I know that rule.
It's a family show. We can't talk about this stuff. Okay.
So that... so that I wouldn't get close enough to destroy his tanks.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you've beat him, how does he take it? How do you take it? Because he's a competitor, man.
We're both very competitive.
Wow.
I think we do pretty well with the Flames of War.
That's good.
Flames of War, we do pretty well.
I've always said, losing is where you learn the most. And sometimes I don't lose much. I mean, I lost the game today.
Well, no. You tied.
Tie is a loss.
Yeah, well, it's funny because the guys that came in second and third was because of non-losses.
Yeah.
So.
But, the games you lose are the games you learn that, maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe I shouldn't have done that. The games you win, I mean, obviously you did everything right because you won.
Yeah, I mean, it's that old saying, you learn more from bad bosses than you do from good ones.
It's true. I have learned a lot from my losses, and let me tell you, I have not made, most of the mistakes I've not made them a second time.
No, I keep doing it over and over again because I do believe doing the same thing will eventually get you a different result.
Well, what is that? The definition of stupidity?
Insanity.
Oh, insanity.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Insanity, stupidity, it's really the same thing.
Well, the only thing is about insanity is you think you're really smart. Stupidity, you don't know any better. So it's It's good, and I'm glad to see, like I said, her playing. I think we need more women. How can we get more women into this hobby?
Well,
Better looking men, I know.
We're working on trying to get another female from down in Norfolk into it.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
A Navy girl?
No.
No, this will be the girlfriend of one of our friends that plays in our local group. So, see if we can get her in. But just in the general scheme, you're seeing more and more women coming into game stores now.
Yeah.
And at Atlantis, I swear every week we play, there's at least one female that comes up and is interested in what we're doing. And, good manners and a friendly appearance goes a long way. And it's a little bit of a money sink into the game. So, offering, if you have an extra army, hey, well, would you like to play? We can do a 2-on-2 game. Would you like to play with us? I think that would go a long way, just in general to grow the game, but then especially to get a woman.
Yeah.
I was just thinking too. It is. It's like, but now both you guys have the same hobby. You play different armies. It's expensive.
It is.
On your newborns registry, will you put things like a leopard box set or a chieftain? That'd be kind of neat.
Honestly, thank God for Plastic Soldier Company.
You mean okay? No, they're awesome. They really are.
That's where a lot of her stuff came from, and then we actually got a lot of your Soviet stuff. Atlantis Comics and Games is having a really big sale over Christmas.
Yeah.
Buy one get one, and then 20%.
I was just about to say,
Christmas was the second big buy. The first big buy was over.
Yeah, it was sometime.
It was Labor Day weekend?
Sure.
I think Labor Day weekend they had a small sale going on for Flames of War, and they were trying to get the older stuff out and the newer stuff in. And
$400 on Soviets.
I kind of
really. We need to talk, folks.
I ate my words of when I would get upset at him for you spent how much at the game store, and
wow,
he was good. He just said one sentence.
Wow.
And what did you used to say to me, honey?
That's crazy, dude. No, that's wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool. It's an expensive hobby. If you go to like a Gen Con, it's 50-50 with women. If you go even to like, I'm not going to mention this local tournament up here because they weren't nice to us, but they play like Warhammer. But like I noticed in the game, I can't think of Malifaux. Malifaux is most of the characters are female in the game. It's steampunk fantasy. And, when you see in rules, they use the masculine article, he, him. In Malifaux, it's her. She. I just think that's kind of neat.
It's interesting.
It is. Sure. But it's definitely an inclusive hobby, I think. But, yeah, I remember, reading war game rules. I had to read them for one of the companies, and I said, you should use the indefinite article here. We don't have any women that play. So this girl that worked for me, who was very attractive, I actually took a picture of her playtesting the game, and they were like, he's like, oh, my, where'd you get that picture? No, she really played it. And if you look to this day at the playtesters, her name's in the book.
That's how you win.
Maybe if they didn't always put he in it, you might have more women wanting to play.
Okay, Battlefront, if you're still awake, listen to it. Well, I know you guys got a long ride home. I'm happy to talk. It's good to meet you again. And keep playing, man. Come back and tell us how you're doing as far as the game. And I really think that Strakovi should be a name for the child.
We'll take it into consideration.
I appreciate it. Okay, all right, so the best are coming, so it's time for us to get out of here. I'm turning back to Sean at our home studio.
Thanks so much for joining the show tonight. Remember to follow us on Twitter at No Dice, No Glory. And keep the conversation going on NoDiceNoGlory.com, now featuring our own message boards. Have a great night, everybody.